Hi, this is Jack Zaleski. I'm the editorial page editor of the Forum of Fargo-Moorhead, welcoming you to the fourth installment of the Forum Face-Off. Today we have a subject that's been in the news, a hot subject that's been in the news. It's the ongoing labor dispute at American Crystal Sugar. As usual, our debaters will be from the progressive left, Linda Boyd Coates, from the conservative right, Scott Hennen. And as usual, you can read their debates in the December 4th edition of the Forum in the editorial pages. Scott, Linda, have at it.
All right. Well, it's another Forum Face-Off. Linda, nice to see you.
Hello there, Scott. Good to see you.
Looking forward to disagreeing agreeably.
We probably will.
Yeah. Agreeably, though.
Agreeably,
yeah, we're a civil pair, are we not?
We are.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk a little bit about this American Crystal Sugar situation.
All right.
We have on one side management, and we have on the other side workers.
Correct.
And unfortunately, the workers are, in my view, represented right now by some misguided management on the labor side. In other words, the leadership of the union. I think that they have ulterior motives. I call them professional protesters. They're being paid. The workers are not by the company. They started to try and get something going over the summer. They finally came to a vote. Workers said, don't want it. Another vote, don't want it. My take, time to move on. Workers find other jobs. Management find other workers. What do you think?
So you're saying we're done. We're done.
Yeah, I think it's time to move on. I mean, I number one, applaud the workers. I think they're good people. I've had neighbors that are American Crystal Sugar workers over the years. I don't think they've been well served in this supposed negotiation, which really hasn't been a negotiation by the labor leadership, unfortunately. But you know, if I'm trying to buy something from you, and we're going back and forth on price, and you say no, no, no. At some point I go, well, she doesn't want it. And I don't think the workers want it at this point, according to their vote. So let's move on.
Right. You know, what I see out of all of this is, I guess I'm going back to my experiences when I was on the Fargo School Board negotiating team this year, which is kind of a new experience for me. And the groundwork that we laid was, before we even started, we didn't lock anybody out. We didn't kind of draw our lines ahead of time. We took a lot of time, the two teams, actually we were one team, made up of teachers and school board members, finding some shared values. And the number one shared value that we stuck with, no matter how difficult things got, was the most valuable thing that the school district has going for it is the teachers. And it was our shared value that whatever we did, we would do all we could for the teachers. And I don't see, even starting out, that same spirit of shared values. I mean, these workers at American Crystal are the ones that have made it possible through good years and in bad. They've taken concessions in bad years to make these kind of record profits, this incredible compensation that the growers are enjoying right now. And, you know, you say it's just time to cut it and move on. I think, you know, when so many, you know, over 1,000 workers were locked out, and they still, even in that kind of hardship, voted overwhelmingly, over 90%, not to accept what was being offered.
Why? What do you see? I mean, what I don't understand is they say it's not about the money.
It's not about the money.
Okay, so obviously they value him enough to give him a contract that they even agree is worthy of praise in the financial side. And they had expressed some concerns about whether or not there could be subcontracting work done, and they addressed that. Yep. And now, as I understand, there's no serious negotiations going on. In other words, the workers, through their union, aren't over on the other side of the table saying, we want this, we want that. So I think we're just at an impasse.
Clearly, we're not at an impasse, but what the crux of the thing is how you see your relationship with your employer. And I think over time, they've been asked to make concessions, and they have, and now when times are good, they've agreed to salary, they've agreed to all sorts of things, but the sticking point, as I understand it, are health insurance, which I understand is a challenge for employers. We had to face that. And issues of how you can be replaced. And I think what we're seeing here is it's always easy to bring in cheaper labor, but it's the investment of the workers' time and expertise that's brought this company to the good position it's in now.
On that we agree, without question. I think these workers have done a good job. I think the company said that. I think they put a good faith effort forward with an offer, and the workers have said no. So that's my point. And by the way, the company's now transitioning to local replacement workers.
Transitioning to. Well, that's nice to see, because when they ship up folks from across the country and throw them in the factory, I don't know that that's...
well, they had no option.
They have lots of options. I guess what's disturbing to me, Scott, is I think we've seen a different mindset, a different attitude, kind of an ugly attitude towards workers and laborers, not just in American Crystal, but around the country. And I think one of the things we're seeing is when you let that relationship sour, you know, as you said, here in the Red River Valley, it's friends and neighbors.
It is.
And I think we've seen management go a little too far. I mean,
well,
when you call,
can I inject and say,
sure.
when replacement workers are being referred to by racial epithets, that's not exactly anything that I would call less than ugly. And there's been a lot of that going around. I mean, Dave Berg at the annual meeting this week talked about this is a tumor on the company, a tumor on, you know, that we need to address. And all of a sudden the other side saying he called the workers a cancer. I mean, you know, the rhetoric is flying both ways. We can fairly say that.
It was unfortunate because when and it was a long. I listened to it. It was a long, drawn out analogy, which is comparing the contract as a cancerous tumor that we just have to get rid of. I think
that isn't people.
What
though.
kind of?
He's talking about what's happened in the negotiation.
Well,
I've
been on that side of the table, and when you're talking about the contract, you're talking about your agreement with your workforce, and if that's a cancerous tumor, yes, it tells the people involved in that process, maybe this isn't in good faith, and we're not holding that same shared value together. And so I think I'm happy to see that I think the management sees that it's still in their best interest to make a contract happen. That's the latest news. Let's hope it does.
I think, by the way, that's the public line, that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But I'm hearing a lot of internal talk about time to move on, which I agree. I think it's just, we're there. I think this is getting ugly. I think the rhetoric's heating up, and I think clearly they don't want what the company's offering, so it'd be in everybody's best interest. And by the way, again, local workers will be the replacement workers, and I understand they're applying for those jobs in big numbers. So in other words, there's demand for the jobs. The current workers don't want them. Why not move on?
Well, I don't think it's true that the current workers don't want them. I think they've invested their time and their family's time and their expertise, and I think they deserve to be treated with respect.
That I agree. I just think they have. They just don't like what's in front of them.
Well, we'll see how this turns out. And I hope it's in time for them to have a Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a Merry Christmas too.
On that, we agree.
We do.
Another Forum Face-Off. Thanks for watching.